What's happening, nerds? This is John Nerding Out with Cards. And, I just got done, cracking some slabs, to curate my collection as I want it. But, it is December, right? And a lot of people are doing their top 10, 25, 50, 100 cards of their collection. And I'm not going to do that because, I don't have a ton of cards. And if I were to do that, you're just going to see a whole lot of cards you've already seen. But I did think it would be kind of cool to kind of like summarize my 2025 collecting. And so that's what I'm going to do. And, first thing I want to show off is, getting here on the YouTube and whatnot, it's developing relationships. You got Greg, Midlife Cards, Scott at Rainier Studios, Orlando from A Collector's Dream with his Martin Dehigo card. Really cool stuff. And then getting to do some of the, on-site things. I had this card made while I was in San Francisco. Really kind of cool stuff. Let's see. And there's no rhyme or reason to this video. I'm just kind of going along as I want to go along. But, you've seen my Red Shandy's collection coming along. And, I got that this year. I got that from JW's Dugout. Spick and Span, one of the cards that I cracked out of the slab. His last playing days card. His Milwaukee Braves team card that I got this year. So, my Red Shandy's collection is progressed, I would say, along this year. I'm a huge fan of the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. And that's one of the great things about this collection is it's living, right? It's up to date now, but then there's going to be new members like it next year, and there's more cards for me to collect next year of those players. So real quick, what I'm going to show is Al Roboski's rookie card, because he was an inductee this year. But that's one of my favorite collections that I have going on. One that I have not shown to in-depth yet, and I do have plans on doing, is my Cardinals Gold Glove collection. Because I love defense. And I'm just going to show one card of it now, just because he happens to be the most recent recipient. Also, the 100th Gold Glove in Cardinals history is Mason Wynn. Shortstop, St. Louis Cardinals. Like I said, I have something really cool planned for this collection, so that's why I haven't showed it yet. But that's another living collection that I have going on. Another collection I have that is living, and I showed this before. My St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame collection. This is my Barrett Jackman card. Class of 2026. So that's another collection I have going on. Absolutely love it. I did a video this year on mascots, and this year I went to Springfield, Missouri, where we got to meet Louie, the Springfield Cardinals mascot. That was really cool. Let's see. A big player collector. So, Nolan Arenado, my favorite player currently on the team. We'll see how much longer he's on the team, but you know, got this SSP image variant, this gold City Pride variant for that collection. That was really cool. Yeah, I collect Lou Brock, Bob Gibson cards, but I collect more so like their postseason league leaders type of cards. So I have these that I picked up this year. Really cool. Let's see. Some like local legend kind of cards. I'm going to show these two separately, but Hank Bauer from East St. Louis. And I learned of him, or I became more interested of him because of a commenter on this channel, Sven Patrick. So that was really cool, picking up his cards. Legendary player in his playing days, multi-time World Series champion, and then later on as a manager, World Series champion with the Baltimore Orioles. So that's really cool. Player in history, person in history that I'm thankful that I have cards in my collection for because of Sven. Local legends, you know, St. Louis kids, Joe Garagiola, Yogi Berra. Got those in my collection. Players that just, we'll have this, more local legend stuff. Jason Tatum, basketball player for the Boston Celtics. You know, St. Louis doesn't have a team ever since the Hawks moved away. That was really cool to pick up. Salvador Perez, big fan of him. Picked that card up. Going more into like local legend kind of stuff. You know, I started a player PC of him, and hopefully being in this area now, I can find some cards at a show because there's just nothing on the eBay that piques my curiosity. But we got Patrick Maroon. And he has Young Guns rookie card. Golden moments when he scored that overtime goal to beat the Stars. When he won his third Stanley Cup. Day with the Cup. You know, so I'm hoping to find some neat cards of his that I would like. Shoebox Legends inspired cards. The way he explained it in his videos, it's just like, man, that makes sense. And unfortunately, they haven't made any Willie Wells cards. But, you know, first we're going to go off of Cool Papa Bell, legendary player. I think most people have heard of who he is. So, you know, I got this one right here. It's white sparkle. There's like, 20 made of this. Really cool stuff. This select card. Cool Papa. It's like a nicknames card. You know. And then recently, JW's Dugout did a Hall of Fame video for the class of 2026. And that's where Mule Suttles was inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I would say later than he should have been, especially when you read up on his career in the Negro Leagues. But this was such an awesome card to pick up. And I just haven't been able to find like a Willie Wells card that clicks the same way. And I'm hoping that I do. But, you know, we'll see. Another, cool collecting card that I picked up is, my band Korn. You know, this non-sports card that I picked up. You know, kind of got a little bit of flack for that one. And I'm going to grab a couple more cards here. But I got some non-sport cards this year. You know, the St. Louis Bridge card I've showed several times. 48 leaf Walking the Plank card. and this revenue cutter service card that I picked up, and then the ultimate gift, you know, that I got from the guys on the boat. But those are really cool. You know, Ray from Philly, he does the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. And one of the things was a card that will be on the ballot this upcoming year. Topps Chrome 2001 update, Ichiro Pujols. When I go ahead and start stomping this card down, vote for this card. You know, Ichiro's in the Hall of Fame. Pujols undoubtedly will be in the Hall of Fame. And yes, it's a modern card. Cards are cool no matter the era. Just saying. But, you know, other than that, you know, my 2025 collecting, you know, Ken Boyer. You know, I've picked up a ton of his cards this year. And that collection is progressing. Absolutely love it. You know, my next binder here. And I'm sorry, anybody who's followed this channel, if this has become repetitive, yeah, so be it. But you know, usual, I completed at least the bare basics of what I want this collection to be. And it was the Topps Bowman cards. You know, I'm hoping that, I mean, maybe the gold card at 2026 is his Leaf card, but we'll see. That's not what this video is about. Willie McGee, you know, a huge accomplishment of this year was this card right here, the team card, and then this card right here, the Ajax card. So I completed the collection goal that I wanted of Willie McGee, and that was his 1983, 1982 cards. Yadier Molina. This year, more so than anything, was my Yachty collection. You know, and you see I got this checklist going on, but huge trade this year was for this 2004 gold card. And now I'm on a path towards collecting all of his Topps gold cards. I haven't updated it, but there's also a card I haven't shown. But there's like, what, 6 cards I need left for that run. But I've had tons of fun collecting, you know, cards of Yadier Molina this year. You know, that All-Star Gold jersey card that I got this year. Some of these image variant cards that I've gotten in, you know, they're gold cards of his brothers, Yachty, that there's, or not Yachty, but Wayno, that there's a connection with. But I've had so much fun with my Yadier Molina collection this year. Yeah, because it's been so long, like, how am I going to collect him? And, you know, he's one of my all-time favorite players, but trying to figure out a way, right? It was, what, my second video that I did this year, you know, is collecting while on deployment. You know, I got a ton of cards that I showed in that video, but the main one I'm going to show, and it's going to tie into another collection scope, is, you know, Ozzie Smith. And so I picked up this 1979 Hostess Panel card. You know, it's Ozzie Smith's rookie year card. So obviously Ozzie's right there. But that video encompassed collecting for me, you know, from December 24 to April of 25. So pretty much the first, you know, quarter of the year to encompass the months of the year prior to me making content, right? And then at the same time, this card leads into, you know, Ozzie Smith. And my Ozzie Smith collection, I far exceeded my goals this year. What was it? I think I picked up like, what, 10 or 11 cards of Ozzie Smith this year. And there's 29 left on my checklist. And I'm unsure if I'm going to get any more. Right? And it just kind of is what it is. That's a topic for another video. But as far as 2025 goes, like Ken Boyer, I shifted my collection scope of him, and that's taken off. Yadier Molina, that the collection scope of that has shifted and taken off. Met my collection goals of Willie McGee, Sam Musial, exceeded what I was hoping for Ozzie Smith, and then I found other things to collect, like I talked about earlier in this video. But no, 2025 was a lot of fun. I didn't think I was gonna start my YouTube channel until maybe 3 months from now, but I changed my mind. I started it back in April of 2025. It's been a lot of fun. Still trying to find my place. I show a lot of different things. Pre-war, vintage, modern, ultra modern, just because of the different things I collect. I think I've definitely adequately branded myself as a St. Louis fan for sure. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I'll do another video as far as like collection goals for next year, but I think that's not going to be very specific compared to what most people are used to. But no, it was a lot of fun to do like this year-end kind of thing, and really kind of reminisce on all the different things that I've collected over the last year. Hopefully you all enjoy it. Maybe it'll just kind of like help you reflect on how you've collected over the last year, which I'm sure is quite different than myself, for example. But it is really kind of fun to do these things, and the YouTube has really helped with that. I've never done this year-end, how did it go kind of thing before. It was just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So this was fun, and I hope you all enjoy it. This is how I'm nerding out, and you nerd in your own way.